Hello, Brick Sculptors. Welcome back to Brick Sculpt. This is Chris, and I am back. I first off want to apologize for taking a short break there. We had a little incident come up in the family. Unfortunately, we had to put down our dog a couple days ago, and it's been very rough. This is a picture of our dog here. His name was Toby. Toby was going to be 17 next month. We've had him a very long time. He was a great dog, and unfortunately, very sadly, we had to put him down. This is a dog that's been a part of our life for a long time, so it's been very difficult, and quite honestly, I've just had no motivation to do anything the last 2 days, all because of having to put down Toby. So thank you for your patience. And we're going to try to get back in the swing here. I'll be honest, I'm a little unmotivated, but we're going to try to get it going again and get out of this funk and get started. So I did, however, get a small package in the mail. This here came from a familiar name, Bevins Bricks. Now, Bevins Bricks, as you might know, is a fellow YouTuber, much bigger than I. And Daryl, the person behind Bevins Bricks, offers a lot of really cool, unique products on his website. I've bought from him in the past, and this is actually a refill on something I've bought before. It's a small envelope. Also, I love the green envelopes. So cool. This is flex tubing. It's not Lego flex tubing. You could say this is like the first dive into alt bricks that I've done. I've bought this before, of course, but when it comes to flex tubing, real Lego flex tubing is expensive. I'd hate to cut it to size, and it's very limiting on what you can do with it because it costs a lot, and it you don't want to ruin it. But this stuff does not cost a lot. Daryl sells this in by the foot. It's $1.50 a foot. He's got several different colors. I bought this orange. Oh, there it goes. It's all unwinding. I bought this for a specific project I'm not going to tell you about yet. Who knows if it's going to work out or not, but I thought it was cool, and this stuff doesn't cost that much. I got a lot of orange. I got a little bit of black here. I use black a lot, and gray. I do use green a lot also. I have a little sample right here. I use it for plants. Unfortunately, he was out of green at this time, so hopefully he refills that soon, and I'll be buying some more. But for now, I've got these colors to work with, and I want to kind of show you what I do with this stuff. Now, I've shown a lot of builds in the past that have used this flex tube. A couple of examples are right here. Number one, my trees. I believe from my young tree video, I believe this was tree C, and it was the least popular, although I think it's a great tree, and I love building these. But this is built out of green flex tube, as you can probably see here from the bottom. A very simple tree to build and very realistic. I realized with young trees that branches don't really grow out so much, they grow up. And then once they get bigger and heavier, then they start to grow out more and hang more. But young trees just kind of have a real upright look of very linear branches. So that's kind of what I was trying to mimic in that design. And I do use a lot of green flex tube in that. And of course, my tent under construction build, I did pop Rick in there. He's not usually with this family. That's not his family. Rick, leave them alone. Anyway, this is a build I'm really proud of, and actually was featured on Brixie, another fellow Lego YouTuber, much bigger than I, who liked my tent video. I'll post that here if you haven't seen it. Great video. And he watched it, used a few of my designs in his video, including this design here, which is made out of flex tube. And that is the same gray flex tube you see here to make that design. Now, when I do use flex tube, I always talk about legal and illegal on this channel. And I always get a comment, how can it be illegal? Or why does it matter? And, it doesn't matter to some people, and it does matter to other people. There's a million different ways to Lego, and do it your way. Some people like to be as creative as they possibly can and use all kinds of different stuff, whether it be alt bricks or illegal techniques or things like flex tube that's not actually Lego. Some people like to be very strict into the rules. It's not wrong to do either. Part of the fun of Lego can be exploring as much as possible, and part of the fun of Lego can be working within a system and the constraints of a system. And I kind of go with both of those ideologies as good, because they're both very different. You know, it's just like anything artistic and creative. There's a million different ways to do it. None of them are right or wrong. I think that, you know, doing it your way is important to create your own style and have your things have their own look. And, you know, if someone else is going to do it different, that's great too. But anyway, I'm rambling here. But one thing you can do with FlexTube, if you are using this stuff, is you can, to make it maybe a little bit more legal, let's say, if you're not open to just cutting irrational lengths of this stuff to use wherever you want, which I do that, don't worry. But one thing you can do is you can cut it to predetermined lengths. For example, bar pieces, they come in specific lengths with some exceptions. You got 2 long bar, 3 long, 4 long. They kind of skip 5, and then you have 6 long. Now, for whatever reason, 2 long and 6 long are not allowed to be just straight bars. I think Lego should sort that out. These pieces are great, don't get me wrong, but a straight bar would be really helpful. So Lego, if you're listening, which I know you're not, get me those pieces. Anyway, you can do the same thing with your flex tubing. You know, here I have it cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 long. And, you know, doing that makes it seem a little bit more legal in the fact that you are using standardized Lego lengths. And one way I've come up to do that is building something like this. This is actually version 2. I did a video just like this a long time ago. I think the first time I ordered FlexTube from Bevins Bricks. And I made a smaller version of this, and this is kind of a new and improved one. And I basically used some brackets and plates to get that kind of 12 LDU difference there, 8 on the plate, or tile, sorry, and 4 on the bracket to leave a 8 LDU, or a plate's distance between these pieces. And the cool thing with this is I can take my flex tube now. Can I find the end here? I really like how this kind of curled around. I didn't mean to do that, but it's going to make the video look great. And you can feed it in here and cut it to length. And now obviously you can make this as many as you want. I don't think I'm going to be using 1 long very much, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, a good example of when this would come in handy, these trees. I try to vary the lengths here, and I have to cut a lot of flex tube. If I was going to make a dozen of these trees, you know, each of these uses 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 flex tubes of varying lengths. So you need to cut a lot of tube. So having a device like this, you know, I can say, okay, I want to cut 6 of them at this length, 5 at this length, 3 at this length, whatever I want to do to vary those sizes. I don't have to measure them out a lot. I can just slide these in and cut them. And I'll give you an example of how I do that. So let's say I want to make this 4 long. I'm going to put it in here. It's not a bad idea to have a tile handy to hold on top of it. You don't absolutely have to, but it helps hold it in place so it's not going to slide out. Keeps it nice and flat too. This stuff is more flexible than standard Lego flex tube. I'll show you here when I'm done. I'll compare it to some standard Lego flex tube. Let's get my box cutter out here. Make sure it's pushed in all the way, and then we're just going to simply give it a little trim there. And now there's a piece of flex tube that's 4 bricks long. So you can mass produce this stuff if you're doing something like a tree and you need to make them all exactly the same or make a lot of them. As I was mentioning, I do have, this is a piece of genuine Lego flex tube. If you hold it up next to the black, it really isn't going to look much difference. Now, some of the colors, and Daryl's very open with this on his website, are not perfect. You know, if you look at this orange and you compare it to this orange, these are obviously not the same orange. This is obviously not a Lego product. It's an off-brand, or I don't know what these come from. I think it has some other application because they do have some numbers on them sometimes that Daryl will tell you wipes off pretty easily, and he tries to do it before shipping, but it doesn't always happen. That's all listed on his website as well. But he's correct. It does wipe off super easy if it is on there. But it is for some other application. But anyway, this is genuine Lego Flex Tube, and it is different. Genuine Lego Flex Tube is a lot stiffer. You can kind of see right there the amount of flex. If I take a piece of this stuff, you can see it's a lot more flexible than what we get with the Lego. But There is also one other difference. The hole in the end, let's see if I can do this on camera. I'm sorry about my fingers. I've been doing a lot of bicycle service at work and they just don't come clean. And of course, the ultimate brick sculpt thumbnail. We're getting there. It's one of these days that purple will be gone. But you can see the holes in the ends. There you go. It's a smaller hole on the Bevins stuff than the Lego one, which isn't really a big deal, but I will tell you, for this tree design, it does make a difference. The way I build these, I take, your flower stem pieces, I take my flex tube, I line up leaves on it, and I jam them on the ends, and they kind of have a tight fit, but it's nice because they don't pull off. The Lego flex tube will fit, but it fits very loose. So this is going to fall off super easy. So for this design of tree, it's pretty illegal. It requires a non-Lego piece to make it done right. But it looks awesome. And I'm going to do my Lego the way I want to do my Lego. So anyway, thank you guys for listening. If you have any questions, please leave them below. Again, I apologize for my inconsistencies with these videos. I will get back on track. This is a temporary thing, unfortunately, because of my poor doggy. So, well, if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. We do more just like this in the future. That's all I have for this time, and we will see you next time.